This is the transfer of knowledge. It's an oil painting on canvas. It's 250 to 170. Is the painting date from 2013, the transfer of knowledge. My name is Mbeng Pouka. This wall painting is depicting the different stage and transformation in our landscape and our knowledge. What is knowledge for me? Knowledge is the amount of information that possesses a person or a community to help them to dwell in harmony. And it's the same with every living creature, because we live in the world, in the universe, where everything created has been created according to the knowledge, to the wisdom of the Creator. So this is the beginning and the first population in our planet. How the society was living in the past, the philosophy that was shaping our ancestors, mostly in Africa, to keep life and harmony with nature. Life in that time was around the elder. The connection, the natural connection and the natural knowledge has permitted them to live in harmony with their environment for thousands and thousands of years. With the pouring of knowledge and the more the population has been growing, we have witnessed great civilization like in Egypt, the Assyrian, the Roman, the Greek, all over the world, the Maya, the Inca. But the philosophy that was global was based in humanity, meaning human was the center of everything that we're doing. The connection was mostly spiritual, because in that time we have also witnessed the rising of all the philosophy we are believing today, like Christianity, the Muslim religion, the Buddhism, and all other religions. But the transfer of knowledge is mostly what shapes people's minds. In the past, people have been mostly spiritual, because the first human, by observing creation, was deeply connected with the spirit, where it was coming from. Through the evolution of and the transformation of our society, we have been involved into different form of culture and belief system. In this painting, in the almost the middle of the painting, I've drawn a circle, and into that circle, many things have moved me to put that circle. Mostly the events, the bigger events that is happening, that has happened in the before the slavery in Africa. And I went back to the Book of Life, the book of the Christian, where the event surrounding Moses to try to figure how that was so powerful. The writing says that God has sent Moses to free the slave. But although that wasn't really slavery, because they were having the mind, the name were no change, the continent were no change, they were just living on their own, and they went in there freely. So they were no captivated, they went in there freely, the children of Jacob. But the event that surrounds that era, the miracle, the killing of the firstborn, the changing of the water to red, the split of the water in the middle. So there is a value to the event of life, and mostly the knowledge people are gathering, because Moses is studying with the Egyptian. So he had another knowledge. His knowledge was different than the knowledge of the Israeli. Now, the slavery, the latest slavery that happened in Africa a couple centuries ago, how the knowledge was transferred? They remove the name of the African. They remove the culture. They remove the identity. They wipe out the mind. It's like wiping out a computer to make it brand new. Because those people went into a continent where people are speaking other language. So they did not have a choice, because most of them were split away from their family, and they have been living a life with some other people coming from other parts of Africa. And they have been giving them new name. Now, looking at that era, how somebody can have a certain belief system, and that belief system can completely change within morph. Then, from that era, because submission and work through history have been the main activity of human. Human have been working to survive, going to plantation like in their own choice, and the activity have been going on. We have the history of slavery all over the world, but it wasn't like the one we have witnessed in America, because the traditional way human have been living, people have been volunteering, some people have been giving the children to help the elder, and all sort of things, the marriage and all sort of things are still going on today. But here, the history of the Africans have been and still in the heart of human today. Why? Because that was the first time in the history of our world where people could have made money using some other people free. That was the first time where a man was becoming a millionaire, a multi-millionaire, by using thousands and millions of people for free labor. And that's have been giving a huge money to the market. So, because the events were so fraudulent and inhumane, it couldn't carry on for life, because there have been a lot of rebellion and killing and everything that's been happening. But the system took roots. Although it couldn't continue in the same way because of the lack of humanity that has been carrying on with the system, the selling of human and all those things. But when slavery stopped, what happened? Other people were forced to replace the slave. So people have been moving all over the world to go in America to war, the Irish, the Spanish, everywhere people have been replacing the slave. Then, because in the time of slavery, they were working 6-7 days a week and continuously. So people were supposed to work not at the same speed, but almost at a similar speed. So they've been working daily to make money in the place of the slave. Now a system has been created to keep the entire humanity under that boundary. So humans have been working from 8 to 5 in our time is what we are doing. And the system of education moved from the upper class to the entire society, to the entire world. Let's just say that a human is born complete with knowledge and everything. So when a system of education is implanted into a human, what is it for? Is it in the benefits of that human, or is in the benefits of some people who have a system to subdue the entire humanity? So the children, before, the children were attending school at the age of 3, 4, 5. Today they're attending nursery, pre-nursery, before the age of 1. Meaning, before the age of 1, children are having the knowledge transferred to receive knowledge from women who are not the mother and they don't know. So in the afternoon they can never recognize their own mother, because a child that's attending nursery is supposed to obey, is supposed to do things is not able to do. So if you see a young boy of 3 or 4 or 5 who is attending school, the aim of school is to submit the spirit of a human. A young boy who asks a permission for everything to his mother. Can I do this? Can I do that? Can I drink water? Can I do this? Because it has already adopted that transfer of knowledge. Now, from the parent who, in the mind, they have to work for the money, because they sold them the money. If you want to do this, you need to work. If you want to buy that, you need to work. So they sold them the money, because in fact, what look good is not always good. What look good at first is not always good. So things that have been selling to humanity, like Christianity, have been work for some people, because it's the transfer of knowledge. They're taking human out of his humanity and they put him into a certain knowledge that is meant to move him out of his humanity. Because what look good, like Christianity, democracy, and all those things, are ideas, are knowledge that are well studied by an upper class and is imposed to the lower class. In Christianity, the only person who benefits is the pastor or the pope. All the rest are the subject. In democracy, it's the politician and the kings and queens. All the rest are the subjects. So here, the system that started in slavery has endured up to date. So the imposition and the obligation that is imposed on human, because a human is the only living creature today that has to pay from birth to death. A human pay for water, a human pay for electricity, pay for everything. So we have no other choice than to be submitted to the system imposed onto us. So a man that is deprived of his own knowledge is not a proper human, but is alive and has no other choice than to keep on obeying, because we are subject and we are forced voluntarily to obey the system that is imposed on us. It's the transfer of knowledge. Let's just look at the chicken. There are two different forms of chicken. The natural chicken that will reproduce naturally for the next generation, and in case of danger, it communicates to his chick and is protecting them and is eating naturally. That chicken has kept the knowledge from the first chicken in the Garden of Eden. That was to Adam and Eve. But look at the farm chicken. The farm chicken is fed by the farmer, love the farmer. But after 2 weeks, his end and his outcome is not in his control. And they are the more numerous. But it's still a chicken, but with no knowledge. Now, the human that we claim to be, we are educated. But which kind of education are we receiving? Because in the past, the education was from father to a child. That means your father have to show you all the aspects of life. How to cook, how to build, how to do everything. Children have been observing the parent and living accordingly. But today, children are observing teacher and living accordingly. So they know how to write, they know how to read, and they're expecting to be getting a job in the future to survive. So our society today, most of the masses doesn't know anything else apart from reading and writing. So imagine at the age of 21 in some country, those who are in the university, they already carry on a debt that they have to repay when they will start working. And apart from looking for a job, most of them, they know nothing else. They cannot look after themselves because they are completely depending on the system. So the knowledge they are supposed to have to conduct themselves in the society, they do not possess that knowledge. They have to depend on the system, depend on the job, depend on the parent to survive. And most of those children, they don't wash their clothes, they don't wash their plates, they don't know how to build a house, they don't know how to get well, because when they are sick, they have only one option, the paracetamol, and they don't even know what's wrong with them. They have to rely on people. They know almost nothing what keeps a human alive. They don't know how to cultivate because they're depending on the supermarket for food. So the education that is imposed on humanity is for them to acquire a job. is not the right education. The right education for every human is to be able to be sustainable, is the level where a human can look after himself, can be responsible of his life, not dependent on order to survive. When the machine is broken, you need a technician. When the door is broken, you need a technician. When you are sick, you need a doctor. We are completely dependent on the system. That is the transfer of knowledge from a human to other entity. Now, the system is getting worse. On this earth, nothing comes with a price tag naturally. No government pay taxes to the earth or to the creator, to God. No government or no human has been here forever. We are all born and we are all passing away. But the gold belongs to a few people. The world belongs to a few people. Everything naturally created, human has kept from themselves. From those things are belonging to a few, and the billions of humans are the consumer, are the slave, are the one working for the system. But it's difficult for a farm chicken to realize how his life could have been, or what is freedom. Because a farm chicken is born in the farm. The only thing that chick have seen is the farmer, and is well fed, so has no ability to go beyond his natural state of being eaten after 2 weeks. To be able to comprehend the voluntary slavery the whole human population is under, we need to go back to the nature. In Africa, people have been walking in the morning, early morning, and before the sunrise, or when the sun, because it's very hot in Africa, they were coming back at home and sharing life, discovering themselves, socializing all day. The lion does not have a full-time job. Bird does not have a full-time job. Tortoise, cat, there is no other animal that is undergoing the heavy suffering humans are undergoing. In some places, you see people, they are very sick, they are not well, but they cannot have a day off because they need to work for money. They sell us the money. What no goods is not always good. So we lost our humanity, not knowing why. But the actual situation is getting very worse with the AI, artificial intelligence. So here I have introduced the true transfer of knowledge from a human, a free human, living naturally like all the other creatures, to the human destroying everything around him, including himself. With the creation of the mobile, very good tools for communication. The first mobile phone was helping humans to communicate. That was very good Then they found out it's not good for a human just to keep the number in his head. They create a memory on the phone that people could have registered the number. I used to know more than 70 phone number in my head. Today I don't even know my own number. I have just to dial the name and the call is gone. The same thing with the sat nav. We used to print map and see which way we have to use, which way to go while traveling. Today, that's not the case. We have just to tap the direction and something comes, vroom, 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 and you follow. But the thing is, when we are relying on the sat nav, we don't know where we are going. Some people don't even look at the road, they look at the sat nav. So, birds are still moving around the world and following the season every year, moving from continent to continent and coming back. They're migrating all over the places, all over the planet, because they have kept their knowledge. Now, with the artificial intelligence, every activity of human is mapped. You go to the hospital today, they will add that in your file. Every single event is added in your file. You post online is added in your file. Your phone call, every single movement, everything we are doing, some people are there to study how to make us into a better consumer. Even the voting system now is manipulated. But you see here, from the travel, the cars, the television, the mobile phone, the road, everything natural in the process is destroyed. Because a human is a complete package. To move us from our knowledge, to move us from who we are, is also to move the earth from what it is. It's good to facilitate the human activities, like to have a car and all the other things. But what is the motivation of a human in his activity? The main motivation is money. And that is where the main destruction is laid down. They're selling us perfection. What looks good is not always good. Every human today is dreaming of living in a very nice building. It's a sign of superiority today. Nice construction, nice building. So we move from the natural state to an unnatural state. So the speed of light and the speed of our activity does not make sense. The earth is not expanding. Apart from the billionaire who are trading from the moon to the earth today, the rest of us, we are from the earth and we'll go back to the earth. So, what is the point of working so hard? Why removing all the trees Why are we so eager to do everything quick and fast? Because of one thing. We have been sold to become rich. Money. Everyone wants perfection. But the earth is not a perfect place. The earth is a place that human should get, not should become rich. Everyone wants to be rich. And today, the wealthiest people are making money through the computer by using our data. And they are billionaires. Meaning, if there was a possibility to buy a country with all its population, some people today can buy a country with all of their population. Because through the modern slavery, they have found out how they can make money by using the common human. Through the transfer of knowledge, you can see by observing the cryptocurrency how the value goes high and no one is in control. But we still so focused on making money. So focused on making money that we don't think anymore. But just we know the pyramid, but nobody knows how the pyramid has been built. We all use mobile phone, we all use cars and planes, but a few people are technicians, a few people have the knowledge of these tools we are using every day. When there is a war, the first place to destroy are the museum, the university, the army place is always where there is a knowledge. It's the first place to destroy. And most of the technicians and the scientists who are creating all those things are always targets. You can see last time in Iran, they killed one of the top scientists in the car. So, let's just say that if there is a huge event today, and after that event, most of those places and human are killed, what is the masses are going to be doing? Because the masses is in Facebook. The masses does not know how Facebook is operating. So we will be there and looking at all the things around the world, all the buildings where we cannot walk anymore, and ask the question, how did they build these buildings? Because no human, we don't even reflect on where we are going. The first mobile phone were having screw. We could have take off, open the mobile phone and take off the SIM card. They said, oh, people can do that. Those human, they can do that. The second mobile phone, only the SIM card we could have take off. Today, no common human can open a mobile phone. If your mobile phone is broken, you have to go back to the manufacturer because of the lack of knowledge. Car. The first car, people have been receiving the manufacturer piece of paper, so they knew what was wrong, how to fix, how to do this, how to do that. Some people have been pushing their own car, changing the wheel, doing this and doing that. But today it's impossible. We have some of the car, automatic car. If you stop there, you cannot push. There is nothing you can do. And the new car are so magnificent, we just love what looks good, but it's not always good. Self-drive and all the other things. The same people last century that have been selling us what look good in the year 2000, people are going to be flying with no wings, cars are going to be driving themselves, the human beings are going to obtain this and that, and we end up into this year just with a mask. Before, mask, we have been seeing people wearing masks just in laboratory. We didn't know that that could have been our future. We have been expecting our future to be walking on top of the water. So the aim of this painting is to awake the educated human, to make them seek true education. In less than 100 years, in less than 100 years, we have transformed the earth in a speed of light. In a speed of light, where a human is working 8 to 5 plus overtime to enrich one person he doesn't even know. Today we are billions of us and we're still working hard. A common sense will teach us that if we don't come back to the common knowledge, the knowledge of life, the knowledge of ourselves, we are going to be working hard, we are not going to be rich, but our life will be meaningless because of the lack of true knowledge. Imagine a boy or a girl the age of 1, 2 or 3 who is watching the TV, watching the politician, the farmer, telling him he will build road, he will do good thing, he need to be educated, he need to go to school, otherwise he will lose his mind. The age of 21, he will take some loan to go to university. After his university, if he's lucky, he will find 1 job or 2 jobs or 3 jobs. Eight to 5. All his best time is given to a company to receive how much? Enough money for him for a month. After more than 23 years of education, you're receiving enough money for a month, because in your salary, that government have to take 40% of taxes. You have to pay your room, you have to pay for your water, you have to pay for electricity, you have to pay for your gas, you have to pay for your food. Before the end of the month, there is no more money. The modern slavery is worse than the former slavery, because the former slavery, they didn't suffer that pain of paying all those bills, and they have been trading. When the farmer or the owner were not even, those people have been living freely, eating the food of the farmer, having fun, having feast, doing all the sort of things, but working hard. But today, most of students, they commit suicide. Most of workers, they commit suicide. And those who cannot commit suicide, they die because of the food. They don't even know what they're eating. You see, the planet is heavy, the earth is shaking because people are so heavy on top of that planet today. Because of the lack of knowledge, we don't even know what we are eating. So, that boy, that that will give his best for a company from 8 o'clock to 5 o'clock, meaning you come back in your home after taking the underground or the train or any transport, you come back tired. 8 o'clock, you eat whatever is there. The next morning, meaning you have no life for yourself, only something like 1, 2, or 3 weeks in a year. The transfer of knowledge. Meaning, we are the very people destroying our own self because of the food. Because the money we have, that money is study. Minimum wages is for the mass population. So we are working hard and we are producing. And those people, they're taking our money to go to the moon. To build houses with I don't know how many bedrooms. The population is not destroyed because they want to destroy. We are destroyed because of our lack of knowledge. People have been taking away our knowledge. So, when you are educated, because most of the world today is educated, in every country, people are determined to become rich because it's what they sold to us. After working 8 to 5 for a person you don't know, and they give you your wages, and you take that wages before 1 month, you give that back to them because they're the one owning the company of the oil, the company of the water, any company, the supermarket where you buy your food, it belongs to the billionaire. Where you put in your oil, it belongs to the billionaire. So they give you and you give that back to them. Now when you are 65 or 68 or 70, you have no more power. And then they say you are retired. You're still alive, but they said you retired. You're still living, but they said you retired. And then they put you into a house after a few years. And in that house, you like this, waiting for death, waiting for death, waiting for death. Day and night, you're looking out, oh, I'm still alive, yeah, waiting for death. It's a system. But life is not about that. Where humans have to be used all of their life to build, to work hard, and then to put into a place where they have to wait for the death. That is not the description of life. But that is the transfer of knowledge. I have more video because if I put everything to this painting, then the other painting will be a repetition. Carry on following and we will work together to free our humanity. We are here for the same cause. We are here because there is so much more about the glory the Creator has put into us, that the rest of creation is enjoying, but we are the only creature that is suffering and carrying the pain and is completely against itself and against its own environment. So the transfer of knowledge is one way of showing what we can do, how we are leading ourselves into a self-destruction. It means in other painting you will see what a human has been created for and how by discovering ourselves, by getting into us and regaining our knowledge and our true humanity, through our creativity, what we can become, how glorious we are. Thank you for watching this painting, and I hope you watch the next one. Thank you.